Jurassic World Evolution 2 has been out for near enough 3 weeks at this point, and during this space of time, I like to think I've given the game a fairly good run for its money. You know, I'm really enjoying it. It's a big improvement from Evolution, but with that being said, like every new game, there's always ways it can be improved, and I'm going to go over that today. Now, I should also like to mention this video is going to be extremely opinion based, especially since, you know, I've had to balance playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 with stuff like, you know, going to school and going outside for the most part. So if you do wish to challenge my opinions, feel free to comment, there will be no hard feelings. And lastly, sorry if it seems like quality and just content in general has dropped off a little bit. I promise I'll be back up to standards by Christmas. And with that being said, if you do enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing, as your support really does help me out. Now, being a console player for Jurassic World Evolution 2, something I've always struggled with, even in Jurassic World Evolution, was the terrain tools. Obviously, in certain aspects, the Jurassic World Evolution 2 terrain tools have been greatly improved from Evolutions, but not in the sense I was really hoping for. If you were to ask me what I think a terrain tool should be like, I'd personally say be able to create mountains, be able to make something picturesque, not a sloppy hill that just looks horrible. Of course, you can experiment with it and try and make it nice, and, you know, that's fair enough. GG's if you manage to create something nice out of these realistically horrible terrain tools. But, you know, for me, it's just such a wasted chance to do something so great with an already incredible game. I also don't understand why they haven't improved terrain tools, and this is going to sound really, like, selfish, if you will, but, you know, the Jurassic World Evolution 2, it's obviously taken a lot of inspiration out of things that us, the community, has asked for. So, something that everyone, well, near enough everyone was asking for in Evolution was improved terrain tools. So, Frontier, where are our improved terrain tools? Now, it probably sounds like I'm just ranting, and you'd be right. But in my case, I can't just hop on Nexus and download some terrain tools. I really do have to just stick with what we've got. And it's not absolutely terrible, you know, it's not horrific, but there is so much room for improvement in terms of terrain. So Frontier, if you do notice this video at all, if there's anything you take from it, it's please improve the terrain tools. Moving on, the next improvement I have is the Aquatics. For me at least, Aquatics were one of the main reasons I bought Jurassic World Evolution 2 at launch, and I think it's safe to say I'm slightly disappointed. Now, generally speaking, no other game has really gone into depth with Aquatics before, so Evolution 2 is one of the first games to do so, and it's not ideal. I mean, the lagoons, they're dull. The creatures themselves, in terms of behaviours, they don't really do anything too interesting. All they do is swim about and get eaten by the Mosasaurus. If you ask anyone that, you know, has been playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 from launch, a common complaint is usually you can't customise the lagoons, and you literally can't. They come pre-placed with rocks and seaweeds, and other than that you can't do anything. Now, something I did notice quite quickly actually is when you load up Jurassic World Evolution 2, you're greeted by this lovely screen of a Mosasaurus swimming through a kelp forest, which I find really ironic since we don't have kelp forests. But yeah, it could just mean that Frontier are intending to introduce decorations at some point. I mean, they did it in Evolution with the trees and rocks, so I don't see why they wouldn't in Evolution 2. But that does sort of tie into my next point, which is the Aquatics themselves. They're boring. All they do is swim, eat, and get eaten by the Mosasaurus. So the improvement to make here is introduce a new aquatic that can A, compete with the Mosa, B, use the shark feeder, and C, introduce a crap ton of new behaviours for all the reptiles, since, you know, they have behavioural traits, they need populations, but they don't do anything if you don't have a population. All they really do is sit there and die because, you know, they're lonely. It's not interesting when they have something else with them. It's not fun to watch, and I was hoping so much for interesting behaviours that just aren't there. Moving on to my second to last improvement though, I've got to choose the amenities. I really wanted like a Cretaceous cruise or a Ferris wheel or something like that. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but just something other than just shops. Perspective of someone who hasn't upgraded to next gen yet, I'm unfortunately stuck without having mixed errors, and a problem I'm currently suffering quite a bit is the fact that I don't really have any unique buildings. I don't have anything to make a certain area stand out other than changing the colour of the lights or my amenities. And I like the fact that we can do that, but there's so much space to add, like, as I said, a Ferris wheel or a Cretaceous cruise or something unique. You know, it's just, in Jurassic World the game, for example, we have loads of decorations that you can use. They don't offer much, but it makes your parks unique, and we need that in Evolution too, other than just changing the colours of lights and the building style. It's not there, but it should be, and I really wish it was there. Reasons people thrive in games like Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo is because there's so much variation in terms of building that just isn't there in Evolution 2, and I keep saying it, and I'll say it again and again until it is there, but we need attractions that are, like, genuinely unique, like Ferris wheel. I know I said that 2 times already, but it's just such a great example of something that could be, you know, so creative. Like, you can have a Ferris wheel outside of your massive Gallimimus Valley as an example, and you could just overlook it from this Ferris wheel. It's such a good idea, or at least in my books. If we had something of the sorts, my parks would be so much better. It's just, it irritates me to know that Frontier are capable of so much creativity in terms of park builders, but they can't do it in Evolution, and I don't know why. I mean, fair enough, a valid argument would be, well, that's based on a theme park game, this is a dinosaur game, but in my opinion, there's not much of a difference between an Arianophthalmimus and a Struthiomimus as there is to a roller coaster and a Ferris wheel, and that's probably not a fair example, but I hope you get the idea. But anyways, moving on to my final improvement, I've decided to go for the campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually enjoyed the Jurassic World Evolution 2 campaign, which actually surprised me considering the disappointment that Evolution's campaign was, where it was literally just keep doing contracts, earn money, complete your missions, move on. This time it actually felt like there was a storyline, and I don't know why it was cut so short. I mean, fair enough, everyone's saying that it's because it would collide with the Dominion storyline, but then why wouldn't you just hold on to the game and release it after Dominion? Like, it just makes much more sense to me than to cut off a storyline that's 3 hours long, a 3-hour long campaign without any introduction for marine reptiles. It makes no sense to me now, and it probably won't ever, but you get the idea. I don't know why you'd make such a short campaign, because it was actually a good campaign. I enjoyed playing it, and it was so irritating that it got cut so short, because I would have actually enjoyed making a YouTube series out of that. But with that being said, if you did enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing, as we are getting ridiculously close to 1k, and I say that every video, but we are actually looking like we could hit it before the end of the year, which would probably make my year, to be honest with you. But yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one.